If you're lucky enough to have hedgehogs coming into your garden, then you might want to know how to build a hedgehog feeding station. There are many ways of doing this. You can use wood, you can use a plastic container, but what I'm going to show you to do is make one out of bricks. All these are recycled bricks. There's some recycled wood and some old wood as well. So what I'm going to show you now is how to make a hedgehog feeding station out of recycled brick, and I will try and make this cat proof as well. So there is a reason why you should make your hedgehog feeding station cat proof, because as you can see here, there was a cat what was coming into my garden, and it was having a good sniff around seeing how to get into the hedgehog feeding station. So it knew there was food in there, so it put his head inside and had a good squeeze to try and get round the corner. It was trying its very best, but I think this cat was slightly too big, but it had a good go, and you can see his head coming into the hedgehog feeding station, but it just couldn't get his paws around the corner to eat it all. So in the end it just had to reverse back out and try again another day. But after this cat tried to get inside, I had a redesign to try and stop cats from getting inside. With this cat, which was slightly smaller, I designed the hedgehog feeding station with a brick in front of it, and I even made a tunnelling system inside so the cat would need to bend its body to get around corners. But even with this smaller cat, it managed to use its front paws, crawled right inside the feeding station, looking for the hedgehog food, sniffing around. Then after finding the hedgehog food, he had a nice little snack and started eating the hedgehog food. He managed to spin around and get himself back out. So it's very important to have a good design for your hedgehog feeding station. To make this hedgehog feeding station, I'm using about 35 to 36 bricks. I'm also using some bricks broken in half as well. For the roof, I'm using anything that is recyclable and waterproof, so this is using free wood, and I found an old tile as well. As you can see, this is the initial design of a hedgehog feeding station. This is the first layer, so if you want to construct the same hedgehog feeding station as myself, you can pause the video at any time and reverse it or fast forward if you need more time to make it for yourself. This feeding station only has 3 sides, so if you need a 4th side, you may need more bricks. So what I'm constructing now is the method of how the hedgehog would navigate itself around the hedgehog feeding station. On the left hand side is where the hedgehog food would go, and on the right hand side is where the tunnelling system is going to be constructed. I've put the bricks 2 stories high so that the hedgehogs can get in and out, and I've already measured, and hedgehogs can always get in and out of this hedgehog feeding station okay. Now I'm just constructing more of the tunnelling system. I'm always making sure that it's safe, so just to make sure that the hedgehogs can get it in and out without any bricks falling over, so I'm always adjusting and making slight arrangements. When you're constructing this hedgehog feeding station, you're not going to make it correct first time, so the first part of constructing this feeding station is just to get the correct design at the beginning, because later on you'll start to make fine adjustments depending on what type of roof you're going to put on it. As you can see here, I'm just making sure that if a hedgehog does come inside the hedgehog feeding station, it can navigate left and right and zigzag itself into the feeding area, but making sure that it's not big enough for a cat to get inside. Using this design, no cats have managed to get inside this feeding station compared to my other designs, so I'm really pleased with this design, and hopefully it's going to be my design going for the future. So anytime I'm lucky enough to have hedgehogs coming inside the garden, this is the type of design I will be using in the future. I could have used a plastic tub or wood, but with plastic tub it's just really hard to clean, and with wood it could rot. But with bricks, if by June or July you want to move the bricks somewhere else, you can just pick up the bricks and put them in your garage or a different part of your garden, so it doesn't take up space all the way during the year. I've put this hedgehog feeding station in a quiet part of the garden, so hedgehogs can come in and out freely. As you can see here, I'm just adjusting the bricks because I want to make a roof work. It constructs 3 bricks on top, but I'm a bit worried about how stable the roof will be if I put 3 bricks on there, so I'm just making some fine adjustments, and at each stage I'm just testing the stability of the bricks to make sure it's not going to fall over. But once I've got the roof on and I've got other bricks next to it, it's very stable because it's very difficult to move bricks around. So here comes the second brick now I'm putting on, and I'll try and put the 3rd brick on, see if that can come on. But as you can see, there's not enough space there, so what I need to do is make some fine adjustments just to make sure that I can put 3 bricks on. If you've got different materials like wood or some other tiling, you might not need these 3 bricks and make all these fine adjustments. It might be easier for you because it might actually be easier to use wood here to make this other piece of roof, but I'm using brick because I've got some spare bricks. So yep, I'm just testing this to make sure it's not going to fall over. A little tap here and there. Then once that is done, I will just analyze it just to make sure that yep, it's fixed, it's stable, it's not going to fall over, because I know that it can get very windy. So once I've got those 3 bricks on, I've got a spare tile where I can put on the top right hand corner, and if you've got a tile this big, you can use a tile, but you're most likely going to be using wood or something else. So what I'm doing now, I'm just using any spare wood that I have lying around and constructing the roof. So I've put in a nice long plank of wood here, making sure it's all stable, making sure the bricks are stable so it doesn't fall over. So I'm always constantly testing the stability of the roof just to make sure if there's a big gust of wind, it's not going to fall over. Once I'm happy with that section, I'm just putting a roof on the passageway so it doesn't get rained on, or a cat can't just jump in and bypass the tunnelling system. So now I'm just putting the last pieces to the roof, and that's one section done, so I just need one more section to put on the roof and it's all done now. So the only thing to do now is to look at the work, making sure everything looks okay. That looks like a very stable hedgehog feeding station. So the next thing to do is try and make it a bit more cat proof. And one thing I have learned is that cats don't like water, to step in water, so I put a bowl of water in front of the entrance so the hedgehog can walk around or walk through the water or drink the water. Next I'm going to put out some logs in front of the entrance, so this just makes it harder for any cats to get inside the hedgehog feeding station. So I'll put one log there. I'll try and get some more logs in a minute to make another obstruction. So if the cat does manage to find the entrance, it would have to twist and turn just to try and get inside, plus it would have to jump through the water, then do a zigzag just to get inside. So, and if a cat manages to do all that, it deserves some food. So my aim is just to make sure that a hedgehog has enough food before it goes into hibernation. So I'm just trying to make it as difficult as possible for any potential cats to get inside. and I'm just putting the last piece of wood here just to make another obstruction, trying to find the best place to put it. And there we go, that's the last piece of the hedgehog feeding station. So that is the end of the video. I hope you're going to construct your own hedgehog feeding station made out of brick, and if you do, please leave a comment below and please subscribe to this channel. Good luck with feeding hedgehogs in your garden, and until the next video, goodbye.